People, welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's time for transfer talk. We're going to do this one live today because I want to get some opinions live in the chat. If you haven't been able to join me live, put them in the comments after the show's done. But we're going to be speaking in the main today about Gus Hamer, as of course we've been relinked with him again following Sheffield United's failure to get promoted. And I just want to get into busting myths about his fitness, because there seems to be a very large generalization about his fitness, and we're going to get into that. Also going to be speaking about some striker links and another loose one from the championship, which Tanaka comments as well, or comments about Tanaka. We're going to get into a few things, and if there's anything prevalent in the chat, we'll bring that up as well. But please like the video before you do anything else. That really helps out the channel. Subscribe, and of course drop your comments below. Shall we get straight into this? Let me see. First of all, before we get into this one, Hayden Yellow here saying, hey, KG, first time being able to make it live. Glad to finally be here. Yeah, man, listen, I haven't been doing too many lives. If you've seen the videos, they've been uploaded. I think people are preferring that rather than, if we haven't got a lot to talk about, than me coming on for 45 minutes with not much, meat on the bones. But you seem to be enjoying like the shorter form. But if there is anything, like if we have an offer accepted for someone, or if we're in talks with someone from those like big official sources, then of course we'll go live every time. So just hit the notification bell, so you know when I've gone live. But yeah, man, nice to see people in the house for a live show, man. Let's have a look here. David saying he won't be a bench player. Yeah, listen, we'll get into Hamer in just a moment, man. So yeah, first of all, let's just start this off nice and gently. In terms of this, Daniel Farke won the LMA Managers Championship Manager of the Year award, so congrats to him. Obviously, good season for him and Scott Parker, both 100-point managers. But I always say with these kind of awards, and it's not downplaying them, awards are awards, aren't they? I don't really pay too much mind to them. Like Team of the Year, if someone's putting a left back over your left back, it's like, I mean, who cares in the end? But what I want with this, what I'm doing is segueing it into what he needs, because what he'll need to do is be a bit more tactically flexible, see dangers before they happen, and not just stick to pre-planned stuff. But what he'll also need is a better range of player. That's for sure. We need to strengthen this team in order to help Daniel Farke next season. That's for sure. So one of the names that can help, and I'm very firm in my belief he can help, is Gus Hamer. And Joe Donahue, as well as TalkSport and many other local journals, have been reporting this. In that, just reading the summary from Joe Donahue here. Gus Hamer, a player of Leeds United, a player Leeds United have been fond of and bid for in the past. As champ player of the season, unlikely that's been dampened, especially with the club's negotiating position strengthened by Premier League and Sheffield United's weakened. Reports now he'll leave Bramall Lane. And that's no surprise to me. For me, it was a miracle that Sheffield United got to keep him for a whole season last year, because he is a Premier League player, and it really is as simple as that. He should not be in the Championship. He should be in a top 5 league. He has that playing style, that playing ability, and he just thinks 3 steps ahead. I've seen many times where he'll lay on a pass out of nowhere, and sometimes the players have caught onto it, but sometimes they haven't, and it looks like a wasted ball at times. But it isn't. It's just that he's 2 steps ahead of other people in his team, and he can definitely make the step up. Now, what I will say is that, and the comment that I get a lot is, he's not fit. He's not fit enough. Now, listen, could he use with losing a little bit of weight? Sure, I won't disagree with that, but his fitness isn't an issue, and I'm going to go into the reasons why. Let me just get this first. What shall I start with? What shall I start with? You know what? Let's go with this past season, people. So bear with me on this one. Let's go into this past season, because this you want more recent things to go off. Well, here is his minutes for the season. And I've joked before, and I think maybe I play into it a little bit by saying 60 minutes of Hamer is better than 90 minutes of a lot of player. But I'm saying that because of what he delivers when he's on the pitch. And when he's on the pitch, he will give you all the hard yards. He does all of that tackling back. That's why he gets so many yellow cards, by the way. It's not through dissent or anything like that. It's through his work, getting back the defensive work. But what he gives you in 60 to 70 minutes is better than a lot of people's 90s. Like, if you were giving me the choice now of Hamer or Longstaff, I know which one I'm picking, but people will pick Longstaff. First of all, they haven't watched him play, because if you did, there's nothing about Longstaff that you could tell me that puts him above Hamer. Not one thing. Yeah, he gets around, cool. So does Hamer. Does he have a shot like Hamer? No. Is he as creative as Hamer? No. Can he help you in both boxes? No. Hamer does that. And he can play anywhere across the attack. But of course, his best position would be that hybrid 8/10. But here we are. Here's busting the myths. Let me just get these numbers here. Right. Okay. So 72 minutes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you're seeing a lot of 90s, 80s, 90, 62 minutes, 90, 90, 73, 24 against Luton. And that was, I think, that was the game before Leeds. And that's when he came on a sub because Chris Wilder wanted to save him for the Leeds game. 28 minutes there. Yellow card suspension. So, he does hit that one for that reason. 24 minutes after 90, 90, 77 twice, 90, 90, 84, 90, 90, 90, 90, 61, 90, 90, yellow card suspension. I can say good for a yellow card, but it's due to the 5 and 10s, not just outright red cards. Not in squad, 90 minutes, 82, left out of the Luton game, a game as a precaution in readiness for the Leeds game. I remember that because he was hobbling a bit in the Middlesbrough game, but carried on until the 82nd minute in that one. 30 minutes, 64, 77, 35, 82, 90s, 4 times in a row, 85, 90, not in squad, 60 minutes against Blackburn. And then, of course, the playoffs. The point being is that he is fit and ready and available. And according to the numbers there, he's played 21 games in full, 27 past the 80-minute mark, and he's played over 3,186 minutes. There's no fitness issues there, people. There's literally none. The only thing what I'll say is that because I'm watching pretty much every week due to my partner's allegiance to Sheffield United, is that he will go down at some point in the game, like with cramp or something like that, and maybe that goes to his body shape, but he will continue the game as much as possible. And then if you want to just go, because I had this comment before where someone said he'll go missing for like 15 games due to fitness and things like that, and it's just false. It's just false stuff. So even on a basic level, if you want to take it here, Championship, and this is for Coventry, 42 games, 39 games, 44. There's one match there, and that's because he got transferred to Sheffield United in the Premier League, where he played 36 games with 10 goal involvements, by the way, 9 yellow cards to go with it. And then the Championship this past season, 44 games. Guys, yeah, there's no fitness issues. So when I've said before about him giving 60, it's me being extra in terms of other players that can play a whole 90 and you don't even realize it. And Paolo here saying here, more recovery time is less midweek games in Premier League. Exactly. There's less game time. Also, as well, the style of play in the Premier League is completely different. It's not as hustle and bustle and tough as the Championship. So he doesn't probably have to run as much as he did in the Championship as well. So there's going to be even more benefits for him being a Premier League player again. And that's why I'm saying I just want to just stop reading the whole thing about him. He's injury prone and all that. That's nonsense. It's literal nonsense what people are talking. Some people are just talking for the sake of it. If you don't know, then just don't say anything. But these numbers and that data there just proves the point of that he is reliable. And even if he is to come off at 77 minutes, guess what? He's going to be available for the next game. Richard saying don't go for Championship players. I'm going to bring up one later, but there's a difference though, Richard. There's always an exception to the rule, and Hamer has been a Premier League player playing in the Championship this past season, and it really is as simple as that. He shouldn't have been here, and he will be getting his move this summer. Now it's reportedly between us and Everton. He does have the same agent as Jadon Bogle, so we might have a bit of a in with that in terms of him coming here. We know we've been interested in when he was at Coventry, again at Sheffield United just last summer with that very insulting bid. I will say the club didn't go about it the right way, but now we're in the Premier League and Sheffield United will have to probably make some cuts here and there. We are in a much stronger position to get him. And the thing is as well, people, he comes in, he's a starter over Brendan Aronson straight away. There's nothing that Gus Hamer... Brendan Aronson doesn't do anything better than Gus Hamer. Nothing. Even if you're talking about covering positions, people that love heat maps. I saw one of Gus Hamer and it was bright red. And you know me, people, I don't like heat maps, and that's why I'm not bringing it up on here. Heat maps are, but what I'm saying though is that he covers the ground like Brendan, but when he's got the ball, he is way, way more effective. And can I see Gus Hamer for us in the Premier League when we're in a game, tough in a game, coming up with a moment of magic, a goal from long range, something we haven't had, a free kick, and coming up with the goods to give us a precious point or 3 points? I absolutely can. So, with that being said, Carlos is saying here, only issue is yellow cards. Yeah, and listen, the thing is as well, you want that. For me, I want that. I want my players to play with an edge. It's like the complete opposite to Brendan Aronson, isn't it? Brendan Aronson doesn't really get yellow cards all that much. He's very lightweight. Yes, Harmer will put it about, and he may go missing for one game, maybe two if he accumulates 10 by the cutoff date. But it's nothing that you can't handle if your squad is good enough. And for me, that's not even a red flag for me. I want my players to play with a bit of bite. At least I know they're getting stuck in. Carlos here saying his best mate would Bogle, yeah, make him sign a thing. Yeah, I know. I'll never do it, J Racer. No matter, even though honestly the heat map proves my point, I just can't do it. I can't do the heat map thing, man. It's just ugh. That's one thing in modern football I can't get with, man. Lee here saying set pieces would be massive for us, could be 5 to 10 goals. Exactly. We're talking about someone who is more than efficient with a free kick. Guys, when was the last time we scored a free kick? Was it the playoffs? I don't even remember when it was. Was it Gruev against Norwich? I can't even remember properly. Maybe it was this season. I don't know. The point being, we don't score many, do we? We don't score too many free kicks, and he can help us out in that department. And look, like I say, if we're not going to go for him, Everton are going to probably go for him, or another team down the bottom of the Premier League, because that's where he should be. He absolutely should be. And at 27, he's at a good age. You get a couple of years out of him as you try and transition then to the next level. I'll look at it in a way of like Buendia at Villa. They got him for near the bottom of the Premier League, trying to push him up. They got the usage out of him, and now look what Buendia is now. He's being loaned out left, right, and center. Maybe that's what we can do. Use him for his now peak years to his 30, and get the best out of Gus Hamer in the Premier League, because he deserves to be there, man. Yeah, David, yeah, if he was a perfect player, he would cost 60, 70 million. Yeah, there's no, well, I mean, yeah, there are perfect players. Of course there are, David. But yeah, absolutely. And look, we still don't know if there's any release clause, but I can imagine now that, you know, with the season being over, all that common news is going to come out. And to be fair, it's the Sheffield side that had all of this information last summer. It wasn't anyone from the Leeds side. It was all from the Sheffield Star end who was giving all the information about the interest from Leeds. So I'd probably wait for people to come back from their holidays and everything else and come back. And we'll get more information. But I can definitely see Leeds United going for him. And I just want to get your thought. Let me just put this in the poll. I'm going to put a poll here until the end of the show. And if I don't remember, please remind me that I've done a poll, because you know me, I always forget. So I've got it here. Would you sign Gus Hamer? Yes, it's a no-brainer. Yes, but no more for 15 million, and then just no. So yeah, let me know. Stephen here. Let me just get a sip of water. I think Kinnear is telling Everton of our liking to Hamer. No, but I think Kinnear knew the story on Jack Harrison. That's why Jack Harrison ain't going back to Everton. So he's definitely like, oh no, you don't want this guy. But yeah, I spoke about Jack Harrison yesterday. If you want to catch that video, I'll link it at the end of this one. Yeah, he's a gritty player too. We're going to need some grit. And how much better would it be to have some grit from the front of your press? You know what I mean? You've got someone there in the front of your three midfield. Not only are you going to have the bite of Ampadu, Tanaka in there, and hopefully another midfielder too, but you're going to have Gus Hamer in there who's going to help out as well. I just think it would be a seamless fit. And you know what else as well, people? I know a lot of people who are probably unconvinced by him. I think Leeds United fans will absolutely love him. I do. Much like my Scott McTominay shout, I think Leeds United fans will absolutely love Gus Hamer for the work he does and for the goals and assists and moments of magic, by the way, that he will provide. Decore, not for me, Ed. I would have loved Decore maybe 2-3 years ago. I think he's an absolutely brilliant box-to-box midfielder, but it was visible that he slowed down a lot this past season. Very, very visible. So no, I wouldn't, and especially for the wages that he's asking for. We've got to be mindful of that as well. And I think he wants around 120 grand a week. And whew, I don't know about that. So no, not for me. What are we saying here? So yeah, that's what I just wanted to say about Hamer in essence, people, because I feel like the fitness thing, it takes on a life of its own. It's like one person says one thing and it just flies around. It's like the saying, isn't it? A lie will get all around the world before the truth even puts their pants on. So I just wanted to bust that. Pause. Whoa. I just wanted to bust that myth and just show you that Hamer will be a valuable asset, and I do hope that Leeds are in for him. Michael is saying, when do you know? Thanks. He's declining. Yeah, honestly, I'll be real with you. There's not many ex-Daniel Farke players that I want. There really isn't that I can think of that I think, ooh, I'd love to get him. I hope Farke can strike up a relationship. I mean, I've already talked about Stefan Ortega being at Man City, being a German. Hopefully that link, if Stefan Ortega was ever available as a goalkeeper, I would take him. But yeah, Buendia for me, I think that ship has sailed. I was not. He did not do well at Leverkusen either, and he's been injury riddled. He's not the same Buendia of a few years ago. I still think he could probably do something for you at the bottom of the Premier League. I'm sure he can in moments, but that's what I'm saying. People would prefer Buendia, like a Sean Longstaff, over a Gus Hamer, and for me, it doesn't make any sense at all. That's all I would say anyway. Bolo, hi K, you've been brilliant this season. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Ed, what are you doing with this? Mason Mount, Ampadu, Cobham link up, 50 million of these yours. I don't know what's happened to Mason Mount, Ed, man. I don't know what happens when people go to your football club, man. They just die. Look at Anthony now, man. He's thriving out in Real Betis. And yeah, just know for me, Ed. Just know. And Stephen here also saying, top show, top that KG, keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Thank you. Jacob here, in regards to Hamer, would you play him in the 8 or the 10? And do you think he's a starter? At this time, he's a starter, Jacob. At this time. But what I'm saying is that Leeds don't have to just settle with just Hamer. Use him as, if you can use him as a squad rotation and get in another 10. Ideally, I would move out Brendan Aronson, but I don't think that's going to happen, so we may have to stick with him. But for me, yes, he absolutely starts over Brendan Aronson every day of the week as well. It's not even close. But yeah, I would put him in a hybrid 8. I don't think we're going to play with an outright 10. Not many Premier League teams do. So I think it's going to be more of a 3 midfield with him being the advanced one of the 3. So I would put him as the hybrid 8, man. So moving on for that, and we'll give the poll some time to cook. We've also been linked recently with Nikola Krstovic, which is very interesting because I've spoken about him already this summer. I spoke about him in terms of alternative striking options, especially when we was linked to that Beto from Everton. Please no. Well, Lecce actually survived the relegation scrap in Serie A, so he didn't get relegated, and he was a big part of that. Apparently, the fee could be around 20 to 25 million. I've spoken about him before. Again, I'll probably link the video in one of the 3 corners. But good rangy striker, good strength on the ball, good finisher. I always say though, the concern from Serie A to Premier League is always a bit of a worry for me, just purely on history that strikers don't always convert nicely from Serie A to the Premier League. And I'm talking some absolute killers as well, like Shevchenko and all these guys, and even more recent examples like Scamacca. Sometimes it always doesn't translate, but if the price point is right and they feel like they could get something out of him, it could be a good move. The only thing though is that he has said that he hasn't enjoyed the bottom half of the Serie A relegation scrap, which could rule us out because Juventus are probably in for him, and Lazio are throwing their names in the ring as well for his signature. So he may want to stay in Italy for a start, and he may want to go up near to the top of Serie A rather than do a potential Premier League scrap with Leeds United. But what I always say as well on every video is that you can convince players to come over when they can see that you're actually doing things with your actions. Like say if we signed a Hamer and a top goalkeeper like a Livakovic, you know what I mean, or Stefan Ortega from Man City, a top signings can make players go, all right, then I can see what you're trying to do, I want to be a part of it. But we'll see what else happens, and we'll see what further updates come of Krstovic, but it is someone that I've mentioned before. Kelleher's going Brentford, is he? Is that right? Someone put that. I mean, I'm glad. We also remember the Weston McKennie saga. Do you remember that whole thing, Jay Racer? I literally said it, and I had no intel at the time. I promise you, I had no intel. I literally did a show the night before, and I said, you know what would make sense with Aronson, Adams, Jesse Marsh, Weston McKennie. He's not getting football at Juventus. Maybe we could get him. Literally the next day, we were in to sign for him. But what I will say in McKennie's defense, let me just play lawyer here, is that Tyler Adams got injured very early in the Bash Brothers, partnership there, and then Jesse Marsh got sacked, and then you could see Weston McKennie, he weren't bothered, mate. Like he weren't bothered, and I think he's pretty much said as much, hasn't he, in more recent interviews. But yeah, didn't go well for him the loan spell. Let me just say. So yeah, why was it? No, I don't know who wants Ramsdale, man. Certainly not me. Certainly not me. Carlos Alberto here saying, would love us to see us hit in the South American market. Yeah, plenty of talent there. Yeah, absolutely. Carlos, I'm not. That's one area I don't know. I do more like Nordic, Scandinavian, Croatian. I love like scouting those leagues. I'm not too familiar with South American footballers, but you're always going to get that dog in them. You know what I mean? You're always going to get that. And you're right, that there's so much untapped potential over there. The only problem is with some of them is that some of them won't get work permits now since the whole Brexit rules and everything else like that. You have to get special dispensation for certain players. But absolutely explore those markets, man. There's so much unearthed gems out there. Embuemo is literally going to go for 50 million from Brentford to Man United if that deal gets completed. Well, he didn't start out 50 million. He started somewhere, which is what I always try and say to people when I'm talking about players like, guys from like the Belgian leagues and everything else. People think, I don't want those players, but everyone starts somewhere. De Bruyne started there. You know what I mean? They all have to start somewhere. Tremendous. Western McDonald's. Tremendous. So we'll move on from Chris. Listen, another one from the past. Hamer, we're getting all the old links here, but Kalimuendo, who, if you remember, we tried to get in 2022. Well, he's only gone from strength to strength. I think we've everyone knows who Kalimuendo is, right? Pacey striker, very different from Krstovic or even Promise David. He's more off the shoulder striker who run in behind the defense, and we will need that next season as well, especially if Mateo Joseph does move on. But he's said to be available for around 25 million to 30. But the problem is that Leverkusen and Newcastle are in for him as well. So it's one of those where if he prefers Champions League football and fighting for a place, because he won't be an outright starter with Isak there at Newcastle, then we're out of the conversation just straight away. And he probably has ambitions of playing in that kind of, level of football. So it would rule us out. But if Leeds United could get in the conversation for a decent price, I wouldn't be against it. But we would still need another profiler striker up front as well as Kalimuendo in terms of to go with Peru. Yeah, Bobby, have to take some risk with signings in the Prem. Absolutely. Some risks are worth taking, Bobby. 100%. And the thing is, every signing is a risk, isn't it? Every signing is a risk. Sometimes you like Ed was on here earlier, in the chat talking about Mason Mount. I'm sure that when Man United bought him from Chelsea, they thought they were getting, an industrious midfielder, good at set pieces, runs around a lot. Instead, they've got a crack. There's always a risk, isn't there? So you just never know what's going to hit and what's going to miss. Yeah, Jacob saying he looks a much better sign than when he did a few years ago. Yeah, he's developed. He's developed tremendously since then. He's way better now. His development has been brilliant, and that's why he's been linked with like the better clubs now. But yeah, if Ren want to sell and Leeds can get in there, I would like him as an option. Yeah, Chris saying yes, of course. Chris here with. Chris, when Tolu goes to Dortmund, man, like I said to you, you're going to need some tissues because I think he's going to probably go there. But yeah, I hear you, man. But yeah, so and next one, I'm not going to stay on this one too long because we just talked there about risks. This is from the Irish papers. I think it's like the Irish version of the Sun. They're linking Finn Azaz to Leeds and around £20 million. This is one where you steer clear. Honestly, this is one where you go, okay, this makes no sense. He's 24 now, literally will be 25 in September. So he's 25 years old, £20 million from the Championship with no pedigree in the Premier League or anything like that. just does nothing for me. He doesn't move me one bit. And this is where you go now, looking at the options, Hamer or Aronson, okay? But then this would be Azaz or Aronson. To me, that sounds like relegation. So this is why I'm not going to stay too long on Finn Azaz. I hope he goes somewhere else. You know, he'd be probably better suited to a Palace where he can, you know, climatize to that kind of environment. But we don't need that kind of thing now. We need like ready-made people that can help us now and in the immediate future. For me, this is a risk just not worth taking, especially at 20 million pounds. So I'm just going to move on from this, because what I'm saying as well, if you're going to spend 20 million on Finn Azaz, you go get this man, Martin Bacciarina, who's going to be around that price point, 25 million euros, which is around 21 million pounds. It's a no-brainer. He's better. And this is what I'm talking about. He's 22 years old, and his resale value, if you're looking at it from a business point for Leeds, is going to be way higher than Finn Azaz, and he'll be more effective. And that's what I'm saying. That would be my ideal thing. You get Hamer in, move on Aronson, get Bacciarina in. And then you got a conversation, because I don't know who starts out of those two, because this guy is going to be next up. I keep saying it, but obviously people don't, you know, those that don't hear must feel, and all that stuff. But he is next up, man. And he's going to, wherever he goes next, unless it's one of the tippy top clubs, it won't be his final stop, because he will then be the next 50, 60, 70 million pound player. And that's why Leeds United need to be in that conversation. And I hope they are, because Premier League teams are in for him, but they're unnamed at this point in time. But fingers crossed we are in for him, because he is a difference maker on so many levels. Moving on just quickly to one of our current players, is in Tanaka, who's definitely going to be an important piece of the puzzle next season, just for a whole variety of reasons, in the way that he conducts himself, the way he plays. He is a Premier League footballer in waiting, and he's going to find that out next season. We're going to see how good he is. But yeah, not only is Declan Rice talking him up, but the legend that is Ian Wright has talked him up as well as one to watch, and he doesn't feel like he's going to be at Leeds long if he continues in the path that he is, which is it's not wrong. It sucks to hear, because you always hope to build with these kind of players. That's how you get up to the next level. But it does suck to hear. But he just feels that if Tanaka continues on the trajectory that he's on, he's going to move on to the next level. But listen, hopefully it's with us. Hopefully we recruit so well that we finish. Let's get sexy. 15th, all right? Let's go 15th or something like that, and then we can build from there. You know what I mean? And build with these kind of players, rather than finishing 17th and then a team that's finishing the Europa League saying, we'll take him, thank you very much. Because you're always at the risk of that when you finish down there. And especially, as I always say, at a club like Leeds United, there's always eyeballs on this football club, always. And that's why where Brentford can keep their kind of players for years and years, Leeds United will always get their players picked off. It's just one of those things, always is. But yeah, Tanaka, Carlos here. If Tanaka starts the season on fire, give him a new contract and 100 million release clause. Yeah, it might have to come down to something like that, man. Well, I don't know about 100 million, but yeah, it's going to be one of those where if he performs anywhere near that, I believe he will. Yeah, we're gonna have a battle to keep him if it goes the way that I think it will. I'm not saying he's going to be like outrageously amazing every week, but I do feel like he's one of the players that if we were going up to the Premier League without him, you'd look at him and go, surely he can play in the Premier League. And I do think if we didn't get promoted, I think a team like Brighton or someone would have definitely taken him off our hands. So yeah, it's one of those. Tanaka getting his praise in public yet again. And just a quick one from me before we get to the poll results. Yes, I haven't forgotten. The legend that is Gasperini is leaving Atalanta. Oh, man. Oh, this is, you guys know me. I'm a big Gasperini mark, man. I love this coach. He's like that Bielsa kind of coach where he will get players that are probably a little bit lost, untapped potential, or maybe their potential had gone, but then he'll get it back. And you saw that when he won a European trophy pretty recently, got Atalanta in the Champions League for so many years when they were way above their budget. He was doing so well. Well, I want to know where he's going to land next, man. I love Gasperini, and you have to appreciate coaches like this. You know, like a lot of you appreciate Bielsa for what he did with guys like Cooper and Ayling. He does the same with other players as well, where he just gets that that extra thing out of the players. And I do admire coaches like that that can do the best with very little. So yeah. Let's have a look here. Jam, this would be your ideal Leeds United manager. Yeah, I do, man. I think he's brilliant, man. Just if you give him a budget, he'll do well with it. But even if you don't, you can trust his coaching methods to get the very best out of what he's got. He's just brilliant, man. Gasperini or Fabregas? Oh man, that's a tough one. Probably get more. Thing is, I don't know if you get more years out of Fabregas, because I think if he did well at Leeds United, then he'd get plucked off by Real Madrid and or Barca in a couple of years. So probably Gasperini. Ethan here saying here, I know we don't have the luxury of choosing where we get our talent from, but we need to get class talent from Scandinavia because it will increase revenue from jersey sales due to our big brand there. Yeah, and just basically, Ethan, they've got some very, very good players over there, whether it be Denmark, Norway, Sweden. They've got some talented footballers there, absolutely talented footballers. So it's always worth exploring the markets. I mean, you even think of Tanaka, going back to him, and now that we've got Premier League exposure, just how much bigger the brand will be in Japan just from Tanaka alone. I mean, it used to be that thing with Nakata, didn't it? If anyone remembers Nakata, he moved to, I think he moved to Roma and a few teams, but wherever he went, that shirt was being sold in Japan. It's no joke. It's a bit like Sana at Tottenham, isn't it? It does help commercially. There's no doubt about that. But it has to be the right player. I don't care if they come from Timbuktu. As long as they can play football and keep us in the Premier League and build off that, I'm good with it. I'm good with it, man. So listen, I'm doing well, man. I didn't think I'd wrap it up in like half an hour. I've gone over, but you know what? Let me go to the poll results. Let me go here. End poll results here. Okay, would you sign Gus Hamer? Yes, but for no more than 15 million, 57%. Yes, it's a no-brainer, 31%. No, 11%. Okay. I mean, yeah, Carlos, there's always a dud in everyone. Not everyone can be great. Although saying that, Carlos, the flip side of that is that Frankfurt fans absolutely love Rasmus, and he's kind of helped them get in the Champions League. So, it's one of those different strokes, isn't it? What might not be right for you is right for some, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So horses for courses. It didn't work out for him in the Premier League, but it seems to be working out for him in the Bundesliga. So there we are. Paul, make triple sure on those Hamer hamstrings. That's all I'm saying. Paul, you must have come in late, giving you all the numbers earlier in the show. So there we are. But listen, people, that will be the show for today. Don't think there's anything else. If there's anything else that comes out, then we'll come back with an emergency stream later. But yeah, I'll link some videos that I've done, recorded and uploaded. So if you haven't seen those, please go and watch those. Like the video before you go, people, and have a great day, rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Peace out.